Hello and welcome to the Gun Locker. Now, in my last video I said that I had some exciting news, and that news was that a high-end airgun manufacturer has actually reached out to me and asked me whether I would like to review their air rifles. Now, this is a complete first for me with regards to the gun reviews, because I have been dealing with gun dealers so far and asking them, whether I could review their rifles to give you some content. This is the first time that an airgun manufacturer has actually reached out to me and asked me to do the same. I'm taking it as an incredible endorsement of the channel. It's fantastic, it really is. It's something I've been working towards, something that I hoped would happen, and it has. And I just want to give a massive shout out to the guys at Kalibrgun and to a gentleman called Weihrauch, because it's him and his team that have actually sorted this out, and they sent me this beautiful Cricket 2 carbine. Now, this is a .177 and it's sub 12 foot-pound. Now, the reason why I've got this and not one of their other air rifles, because to be fair, when I was kind of communicating with Weihrauch via text, he offered me anything from the range, and I guess he was expecting me to pick one of their latest models. But I took my time, went through the catalogue, and right at the bottom of the catalogue was this carbine. And I thought to myself, do you know what? It's very reminiscent of another air rifle that I've reviewed on my channel, and that's the Weihrauch HW100. Similar sort of chassis, the barrel, the cylinder, the stock to a certain extent, the cocking lever, the actual way the rotary mag is kind of filled and indexed. It's all very reminiscent of the Weihrauch HW100, and I thought to myself, you know what, if this manufacturer is prepared to not mimic but go along the similar lines as the Weihrauch HW100, then it would be a very, very good place to start to compare the two, to see how accurate the rifle is, how robust it is, how kind of consistent and trustworthy it is. So I had this conversation with Weihrauch, and I said to him, I want the carbine, and he went, well, why don't you want a new one? And the reasoning is, I want to see if it's as good as the HW100 or better, and if it's as good or better, then I'm going to shout it out through the rooftops. Or from the rooftop, sorry. I really am. So that's it. Hopefully it's the start of a long relationship with Kalibrgun. Hopefully I get to review a whole load more of their rifles. That's obviously dependent on how they how they kind of take to this one, I guess. But what you'll also probably notice on top of the rifle itself is a Pearl Manul M6. This is 4.5 to 27 by 56i. It's a Chechen made optic. So what more could you want? It's a marriage made in heaven. It's high-end Chechen optic on a high-end Chechen air rifle. Now, if these two don't work well together, I don't know what will. I really don't. And on the end of the optic, you can see here that I've got a Scopemate S18 camera. That's going to allow me to show you footage of shots that I take through the scope or through the optic, and you'll be able to see there whether it's me that's off or whether it's the rifle that's off. Because at the end of the day, if the scope is consistently, or if the optics, should I say, this thing with YouTube nowadays, if the optics are consistently in the same place when I'm pulling the trigger and the pellets are flying wild, then you'll know it's something to do with the rifle. If it's the optics that are bouncing around, so that crosshair is moving around on the target when I'm taking the shot, then you'll know it's me. It's as simple as that. With regards to shots through it, I picked this rifle up yesterday, so it was shipped into the country 2 weeks ago. I went and collected it yesterday, and I have only put about 50 shots through it, and they're Bisley LRGs. That's purely to try and lead the barrel in slightly. For you purists, when I do my pellet test, I'm not going to clean the barrel between pellets, and I'm not going to re-lead the barrel between pellets. The reason for that is that the price of lead now is going through the roof, and a tin of pellets is like 20 quid. It's just getting ridiculously expensive. They're not all at that price. Some are obviously cheaper and you can get some deals out there, but it's just getting more and more expensive. I was talking to a good friend of mine, Andy, at the theGunLocker, with regards to pellet prices, and you know, he's got tins that are 3 years old and they are £4 or £5 cheaper than what they are now. It's just crazy the way prices are escalating, but you know, it's a sign of the times. So my point is, I'm not going to waste lead. Simple as that. So yeah, we're going to start off with a pellet test. I've got the target downrange at 30 meters. We're going to do 5-shot groups, obviously take you along the way, along the journey as it were, and you'll get to see how well this rifle performs, as will I, because this is new to me. Right, so I've put 5 pellets in the magazine, and with these rotary magazines, basically when you first load them into the breech, it is quite awkward to see whether you've lined up the pellet or not with a probe first off. So it may well be that when I take my first shot, there's no pellet in the breech. It's just the way of it until I get used to the rifle. But yeah, Bisley LRGs, and guys, this is a pellet test, so I'm not too fussed if I'm not, you know, centre of ball, but I am concerned about the actual size of the group to see, you know, it will give me an indication as to whether this rifle likes a particular pellet or not. I'm going to switch the camera on. So that's on. That's recording. It's in fire mode. Alright, top left hand target. Yeah, all recording. Just recording, yeah. Bit of a gust from right to left, so I'm just going to let that calm down. Okay. Wind's coming in from left to right now. Okay, so for the most part, 4 out of the 5 were fairly tight. You know, there's a little bit of a spread between them. So I think the next up's going to be the Diabolo air arms. sorry, the Air Arms Diabolo fields. These are 8.4 grains and they are 4.52. And loading this mag is really easy. It's like the Weihrauch. You simply make sure that the cog side is to you. There's a couple of O-rings that hold the pellets in place, and you simply just pop it in. Oops, make sure they're in. There's one, two, and it's that easy. There's no cover to mess about with. There's no winding any springs back. There's no putting pellets in backwards. It's as easy as you like. And look, you know they're in. That rubber O-ring is holding the pellet in place. It works. It's very, very simple. It works very much like Weihrauchs. Let's see if I can just line that up right. Okay, and let's go top right hand target. Camera's still recording. Okay, so I've got a bit of a spread there. Yeah, so on the target, let me just show you. Colour coded, you can see that the inner bull is 15mm, the yellow is 20, the red is 25, the green is 30, and the blue circle is 35mm. So that last group was all within this section here. So you're talking a 17mm group, under an inch. But yeah, the Bisley LRGs are doing a better job so far. Let's try another one. So next up are the Diana High Powers. These are an H&M pellet, by the way. It doesn't give me an exact diameter size, just says 4.5s. Yeah, and it doesn't give me a grain weight actually on here, so yeah, not sure what these are, but we'll give them a go. Safety's off. Sent the target. I think that was it. Yeah. So all of those 5 were shooting to the right. Let's try the JSB Match Diabolo Exacts next. These are, well, these 4.52s, 8.44 grain. That was me, I wobbled a little bit. Okay, so that's definitely a contender, that's for sure. Nice little group with them. Let's now try the H&N Field Target Trophies. These are 8.64 grain. It's not giving me an exact size on these. Got the sun coming right into my right hand side and it's blinding me a little bit. Back on safe. So that's 5. I just need to go and change the target now. Okay, so next up are going to be the Norma Golden Trophy FTs. These are heavier pellets. These are 9.4 grain. 9.4? Sorry, 9.1 grain. My eyesight without glasses is absolutely crap, to be honest. Nearsighted, that is. I mean, distance I'm not so bad, but just as I've been getting older, I've noticed that my eyesight has changed quite a bit recently. So when you see me wearing glasses, I'm wearing varifocals, which is a new thing for me. Yeah, a sign of getting old, I suppose. Let's give these a go. Let's go top left target. Okay, that's recording. And that should be it. Yeah. Well, that was a tight little group. Shooting slightly to the right, but yeah. Next up, the Remington Thunder Barracudas, 4.5mm. But those Normas were definitely contenders, that's for sure. So currently it's between the JSB Match Diabolos exacts and the Norma Golden Trophy FTs. Still recording. Top right hand target. I think that's 5. Yeah. That's interesting. That's another tight little group. Shooting to the right again, but possible contender. Last up, we got the Webley Accu Pells. Still recording. Right, I'm out. So it was a proper flyer, first pellet. Put that back on safe. I'll go and get the target so we can have a look. Okay, well, looking at these results here, I'll put them there first. So they were the JSB Match Diabolo Exacts 8.44 grain pellets. Now, apart from that one there, that's a pretty tidy group. What are we looking at there? It's smaller than my fingernail. That's got to be a group of around about 8 to 10 mil. I would say 10 mil. So that's definitely a contender. That one there. That was me pulling that shot, but that was a tidy little group. And then if we look at the top left again, that's the Golden Trophy Field Trials, sorry, what am I saying here, Golden Trophy FT Heavies. That was a nice group. I think, you know, apart from that flyer on the JSBs, I think the JSBs have still slightly got it. And again, I was quite pleased with the Remington Thunder Barracudas. They surprised me, to be honest. They really did. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it was shifting to the right. So I'm going to disclude those. Sorry, discount them. I can't get my words out today. I'm going to discount the Remington Thunder Barracudas. I think I'm probably going to go with the JSB Exacts. Yeah, let's do an accuracy test with them. Now, you know, at the start of the video I said that pairing up the Night Pearl with the Kalibrgun cricket was a match made in heaven, because the Night Pearl optics is a is a Chechen made scope or optic. The rifle is a Chechen made rifle, and now these pellets are Chechen made as well, so they are definitely keeping it in-house, that's for sure. I'm just loading up the magazine completely here. The reason for it is that I'm going to put a sighter in, or a couple of sighters, just so I can see exactly where the rifle is shooting, and then I'll make a slight adjustment when I'm doing my accuracy test, because I'm not going to bother messing about with the reticle. I'm not going to adjust that, just going to make an allowance. Okay. What I'll do with the sighter as well is I'm going to aim for this red dot here. That'll tell me where the pellets are shooting, and then I can make my adjustment. So switch the camera on. Let's get some sighters first. Slightly high and slightly to the left. Same place. Okay, let's do the accuracy test. So pellet in each of the outer targets, and then we'll do a group of 5 shots in the center target. Start off top left. Okay, for the group. Okay, well, I hope you got the footage through the camera there. Let me get that target and let me have a chat about it. Yeah, just got a load of mud on me jeans now. Ground is so wet, it's unbelievable. Okay, so I've got the card here. These outer shots, you could see that I was making an allowance through the scope. I was aiming kind of down here, that sort of area, but it's not an excuse. But the sunlight is coming directly from this side, and I'm getting it straight in my right eye, so it's really kind of uncomfortable. It's giving me some issues there. But saying that, these outer single shots, they could be better, and that's definitely down to me. The group, well, you can't complain with that. That's 5 shots in there. Yeah, really cannot complain with that group. That's nice. So I think in time, what I'm going to do now is basically scrub this barrel out, because it hasn't been cleaned yet. That was straight from the manufacturer, and all I've done is run pellets through it. So that's going to be cleaned out, and then I'm going to let it in again, and we'll see where it goes. It's proving to be very sweet. It does have its quirks, that's for sure. What I will say is the bit of mud. The loading of the magazine is a little bit more fiddly than the Weihrauch. I found the Weihrauch easier to load. It's just because there is a 2-stage affair with this locking pin. So basically, to release the pin, you take that all the way down, cock the rifle, pull that locking pin back, and that releases the mag. Okay, but when you push that, once you've loaded the magazine, fed the cocking, get this in the right way around. Once you've loaded the magazine and then returned this sprung retaining pin back into the position, it goes into position number 1. That puts the magazine in place, but it only kind of does it as a single shot. You then have to move that forward, so it goes up, across and further forward, to then be able to index the magazine with every shot. So as you cock it, it moves it 1 revolution, and it allows you to index the next pellet. So it just takes a little bit of time getting used to this loading mechanism. The other thing that's interesting about the rifle is the safety. Now, that currently, as you can see, there's a pin here. It's got a green band on there saying that it's in safe, which is fine. And on this side, when it's in live fire mode, you push it through and you've got a definite red band there, which is great. But the pin, the safety pin, is designed to be removed so that you can, there you go, you can then take the chassis out of the stock, because the stock obviously encompasses all of it. So it's a little bit free moving, and I would prefer just a tad more resistance on it. I guess it's like anything, you know, the more you refine it, the more smoother it becomes, the kind of the gentler you have to be. So it's not, well, it is a criticism of the rifle, the criticism of the manufacturer, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just you have to get used to it. With regards to the trigger, now that is as sweet as pie. It is so nice. Very kind of, I mean, you've got a definite first stage movement on there. Let me just, now I'm making sure that that's not cocked. It isn't. Okay, so first stage movement, and then you have a definite release. So a little bit of travel, and then just enough, and it's really nice. Very smooth. Now I haven't counted the shots as yet, but prior to this test I loaded the rifle, I filled the cylinder up to 260 bar, and it's now down to 190 bar. So it's used 70 bar of air. Obviously 0.177, they use more. I do know this is running hot. It's running, well, I say hot, it's running at about 1.8 to 1.9. 1.8, 1.9, I mean 11.8 to 11.9 foot-pound. I'm going to run it over the Crony again just to make sure, but that's what the test card was saying. Yeah, but apart from that, so far lovely. Am I pleased with it? Yes, I am, that's for sure. I guess we need to talk about the specs, so I'll go inside and I'll give you all the dims of the rifle, go through that quickly, give you my thoughts on how I rate it as well, so that'll be for design and build and accuracy as well. Yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so you've seen me shoot the rifle outside now, and I have to say I am more than pleased with it. I am. It's met my expectations. I've heard a lot of good things about Kalibrguns. I've never shot them before. I've heard that they are accurate, that they are very well made, that they're worth the money. What's surprised me about this rifle is that I haven't cleaned the barrel. All I've done is basically put some pellets through it. So this is straight out of the factory. I think it was made on the, hang on a sec, I've got the manual here, so don't know if you can see that, but it says the 17th of the 9th 2024. Has its serial number here as well, so that's when this was produced. And like I say, I've not gone to the effort of cleaning the barrel out or leading it, and it's still produced pretty damn fine results. You know, I said at the start that I was going to put it up against the Weihrauch HW100T. If you're familiar with my channel, then you would have seen that review, and I've rated that rifle very, very highly. I think overall it got a score of 4 out of 5 stars, which is very high. What can I say? One of the really, really surprising bits about this gun is how quiet it is. Now, the moderator comes supplied with the rifle, made by Kalibrgun, as is everything that you can see on the rifle except the bipod, the scope and mounts, and obviously the scope cam. So the rifle and the mod all made in-house. It's phenomenal, you know, it really is really nicely put together. I am chuffed to bits with it. And there's another little surprise as well, and that comes down to the type of wood that's being used on this rifle, and if I'm correct, that's the first for me as well. I say if I'm correct because I really, honestly guys, I picked this up on Thursday, and it's my first outing, so I'm still learning a lot about it, and I'm hoping to be using this as well as I go forward for all sorts of other videos that will be coming up. So anyway, like I say, let's talk about the gun. Let's start off with design and build. Let me give you a little bit of history behind Kalibrgun, although there's not a lot there really. And let me rate the rifle as I normally do, and at the end of it we'll find out whether it's scored better or worse than the Weihrauch HW100T. Yeah, we'll find out. Okay, so what have we got here? This is the Kalibrgun Cricket 2 Carbine in .177 sub 12 foot-pound. Okay, sub 12 foot-pound because we're here in the UK, and that's the legal limit as to what you can use as an air rifle without it having to go on a firearms certificate. You have to be over 18 to purchase one of these. That's law within the UK. So, you know, this is a sort of rifle, air rifle, that if you were going to a dealership and you wanted to pick one up off the shelf, this is what you could buy. Okay. History behind the company. Well, as far as I know, Kalibrgun was originally founded in 2005. There's talk about it being originally founded in Moscow, Russia, but then they moved over to Prague. And it's the actual company, as far as I know, is called Kalibrgun Vardy EU, and then S.R.O. I don't know exactly what the SRO stands for, but from their website, this is what they're saying. So, originally founded in 2005, Kalibrgun Vardy EU SRO develops and manufactures bullpup, carbine and pistol style pre-charged air guns for hunting, shooting sports and recreational use. And it says each of our products feature functionally elegant designs, the best materials, innovative technologies and the finest workmanship in the industry. Bottom line, the quality, reliability and accuracy of our products are legendary. Legendary may be a little bit strong because the company is so new. You know, legends come about from years and years and years, and you know, it's only, what are we talking about, it's 19 years old, so it's not that old as a company, but their reputation is growing very, very quickly, and for good reason from what I've seen so far. Now again guys, this is the first Kalibrgun that I've actually shot, held in my hands, so I don't know what the other rifles or bullpups or air pistols are like. And until I get my hands on them, I won't be able to give you a fair assessment of them. But what I can see in front of me, what I've shot, yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it, that's for sure. Variants, well, you can get this in a bullpup and a tactical bullpup, all around the same sort of makeup as the Cricket 2 platform, I guess, just different stocks, different configuration. Obviously what you see here is a traditional style rifle. It is a PCP, like I've said before, so pre-charged pneumatic, and it's available in three calibers, 0.177, 0.22 and 0.25, so that's 4.5, 5.5 and 6.35 mils respectively. The stock that you see here, that's made in-house. Again, for me, another thumbs up. It's not like, how can I say, it's not like an English manufacturer, and I'm not dissing English workmanship, because you know it's some of the finest in the world in different types of industries, but what I really don't like is when you get a manufacturer that says, this is mine, this is what I put together, and actually all he's done or she's done is assemble parts from all over the world, and they're not giving credit to those other manufacturers from who they've bought the parts. Okay, BSA is a classic one. They use Manelli stocks, as do a lot of the other manufacturers that are out there. But what you see here is all made in-house, made by Kalibrgun. And the other thing that's quite surprising about this, I wasn't sure what the wood was that they use on this stock, and as far as I understand and as far as I can work out, it's mango. Now mango is a hardwood and it has similar qualities to oak, but it's very good to work with. You know, you can carve it, you can shape it, and it holds a nice finish, and it's robust, so it's good for outdoor use as well. Walnut, on the other hand, walnut is a different material. From what I've found of it, with my experience of it, you have to regularly oil that. This has come in a finish that has a nice luster to it, so whether it will take any oil, I'm not sure, but I will find out in time. And as you can see, the stock style, well, this is a traditional sporter. It's got a thumb hole stock and it's skeletal. I mean, the cutout on the stock part, the butt stock, is really quite clever because it reduces the weight. and it makes it ever so comfortable. It really does. So with regards to the comb or cheek piece, as you can see, it's adjustable. I mean, there's a slight raise on this. I've not messed about with this. It's exactly as it's come out from the factory, but that will go up and down. The stock itself is ambidextrous, okay? You can certainly, you know, shoot left hand or right hand, but the cocking lever is right-handed. The chassis itself is made from aluminium, and as far as I know, it's only available in black. So with regards to aesthetics and how I would rate this rifle out of 5 stars, well, I've been looking at it. I keep kind of going back to it and thinking about it, and it keeps catching my eye. And I've got to say, for a traditional styled PCP air rifle, I think it's absolutely stunning. You know, there's nothing on this rifle that I can fall out with regards to aesthetics. I think it looks absolutely brilliant, and for that I have given it 5 out of 5 stars. It's my personal opinion. You may not like it, but for a traditional looking PCP, it's right up there. It really is. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, now with regards to features and fit, a traditional style PCP or a traditional style rifle is always kind of going to score relatively low with regards to tactical style rifles, purely because there isn't as much adjustment to them. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at the butt pad, which is nicely shaped, a nice firm rubber, the butt pad is fixed, so it can't go up and down, it can't extend, and it can't be adjusted for cant. So, you know, it loses quite a few marks on that. The cheek piece, although you can raise it up and down, that can't go backwards and forwards, okay, so there's no other adjustment to that, so it loses a little bit of marks. With regards to the actual grip, nicely checkered, nicely finished, very comfortable, you know, but it is a thumb hole stock, and it's not, I mean, you can rest your thumb on the side if you want to, but it makes your hand a little bit twisted, so, you know, I guess it would accommodate a thumbs up style, but it is a true thumb hole stock, simple as that. And again, if you look at the forestock or forend, this has a really nice long Picatinny, which means that you can put that bipod wherever you like, or, you know, it will take a hamster. Again, it's not, you know, it's not a tactical rifle such as what you'll see on an FX, where you've got the Sabre Tactical chassis, and you can do all sorts of things to them, like attach lights and XYZ, you know. So, like I say, for features and fit, it's always going to score low in comparison to a tactical style rifle. Anyway, how have I scored it? Well, from what I call the stock, it scored a possible 9 out of 33, and for the metalwork, so that's the chassis, the barrel, the, you know, the moderator and all that lot, it scored 12 out of a possible 33. So all told, you're looking at a score of 2.5 out of 5 stars, which is fair. You know, it's reasonable for a traditional style rifle. Now, when it comes to build quality, even down to the actual magazines, okay, there's 2 rotary magazines here. The finish is absolutely spot on. I haven't found anything on this rifle at all that I think could have been machined better. There's no rough edges, it's finished beautifully, the detailing is superb, the trigger is superb, the safety is, I mentioned it on the video when I was shooting outside, the safety is delicate, but that's because it's so finely machined. So yeah, with regards to build quality so far, there is absolutely nothing for me to fall out with, nothing at all. So I've given it 5 out of 5 stars, you know, just straight across the board. So safety, okay, it's here, and it's outside of the trigger guard, which is always a positive for me. I do not like safeties within the trigger guard. I know some people rave about them, but in my mind, if you're going out shooting, if you're going out hunting, and you might have some gloves on, you put a safety in front of a trigger, and there's always a risk that you might catch that one way or t'other. When you're either engaging it or disengaging it, you might catch the trigger at the same time. If you've got gloves on, yeah, keep that safety out of the trigger guard. That's my personal opinion. I know other people will say completely the opposite, but that's my view on it. This safety is interesting because you can pull the safety pin out, and the reason why you can pull that out is so that when it comes to taking the chassis out of the stock, this would prevent it from being removed. So that's why they've done that, but it's machined so finely. On one end you've got a green band, on the other end you've got a red band. So green is for safe, red is for fire, and it just fits in beautifully. And there's no, you know, there's no effort to it. But like I said, it's so refined that you do have to be gentle. You can't be bullish. What else can I say? Yeah, operation great. Now the fact that it's a manual safety is always going to knock it down. You guys, if you've seen my previous video, you'll know that I like automatic safeties, just because of the experiences that I've had and what I've seen people get up to. But you know, it functions, and when it's in safe mode, the trigger is completely locked. It cannot move. So what can I say? For safety, it scores 3.7 out of 5 stars. So overall, for design and build, the rifle's coming up with 4 out of 5 stars, an incredible score. And guys, just before I move on, and so that you don't miss anything, the chassis, obviously you see the cocking lever here, it's right-handed, it's not ambidextrous, you can't swap it. The actual retaining pin, again, for the magazine is on the right hand side, and that's a 2-stage affair. So basically, when you push the retaining pin back in, once you've loaded the mag, it will lock it in place, but then you need to lift it up and move it across in order to engage the indexing part of it. So yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to. The cylinder, 250cc cylinder, I'll talk about that in a little bit more more detail as we go along. And at the end we have a clearly marked manometer. The filler port is under this spring-loaded cap, okay, and that basically uses a filler probe, but the filler probe has got a Foster quick coupler or quick nipple on the end there to fit into your couplers, so you're not messing about having to unscrew one to screw on another. Just simply pop that into the Foster fit coupler and you're away. Okay, let's now talk about accuracy and performance, and we'll cover dimensions, weight and everything else that goes along with that. So how long's a rifle? Well, from butt to the end of the moderator here, it's 1090 millimeters or 42.91 inches. The reach from the butt to the trigger is 350 millimeters or 13.78 inches. As you can see, it's not fitted with open sights. You wouldn't expect to. It has a really nice Picatinny rail on the top here. It's actually yeah, sorry, I just thought for one second that it might be a hybrid, but it's not. It's a Picatinny rail. That rail is 175 millimeters long or 6.89 inches, and it's 21.45 millimeters wide or 0.84 of an inch. The rail offset from the barrel, so that's the top of the rail to the centre line of the barrel, is 13.83 mil or 0.54 of an inch, and the rifle weighs unscoped, so without the scope, the mounts and the bipod, it weighs 3.1 kilo or 6.83 pounds. This is where the likes of the cutouts in the buttstock really do matter, because the more dense the wood, the heavier the rifle's going to be. Now, for a sporting rifle, you want it to have a sensible, as a balance, okay? If it's, obviously the heavier the rifle, the more stable it is, but you've got to carry that rifle around all day, and that can get tiring. So you want a nice balance between weight and practicality, and I think Kalibrgun have got it just right. Balance on this is absolutely lovely. What I will say though is, if you've got a setup like this, I mean, my rifle here is quite top heavy because the Night Pearl optic on top is a heavy bit of kit, you know, and then you've got the scope cam as well. So if you haven't got it on a bipod, it has a tendency to wobble in the shoulder just because it wants to tip from the weight of being top heavy. So if you're going to have a high-end scope that's got some weight to it, get a bipod. That's what I'm trying to say. For the field, coming in at 6.83 pounds in weight, I'm scoring it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's just really comfortable and a nice weight. Okay, so you might have noticed a little break in the footage there. That's simply because my camera records for about 23-24 minutes and then switches off. And I have been known to be talking to a camera that's not recording, so I just wanted to check, make sure that that's not the case. Alright, where have we got to? So, magazines. Right, in the box you get 2 magazines, okay? They are as simple as you can want. Very nicely machined aluminium. Really, well, honestly, there's nothing to go wrong with these. They're just superb in their simplicity. You do have 2 O-rings on the outside of the magazine, which helps retain the pellets so they don't drop out. And I guess in time, and I'm talking 5, 6, maybe 10 years down the line, these O-rings could perish because they're rubber, and it's just a simple case of replacing them. But you get 2 of these mags in the box, and what I really like about this style of magazine is that you don't have a plastic cover or plastic case which can easily fracture and break. You don't have a spring inside the case which you need to kind of load up, so tighten up first before you actually load the pellets in. The issue with that is whenever you've got a spring that you have to wind up basically for a magazine to work, is that once you've loaded all the pellets in, the first couple of pellets are under extreme load, much more so than the last couple of pellets, and you do risk deforming the skirts of those pellets, you know, on your first couple of shots. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen on some Crown magazines, on some Reximex magazines. So yeah, if you over tighten that spring, or you know, if it's not set properly, then it can deform the pellet. You don't get any of that with these. Simple design, works perfectly well. One caveat to that is that when you load it into the breech, it is a little bit fiddlier than the Weihrauch HW100T that I shot, because the retaining pin on this one has got 2 stages on the return, whereas the Weihrauch simply had 1 stage. But you know, it works. It definitely works. Once you've got your head round that, then it becomes easier, for sure. With regards to shot count, well, the .177 and the .22 can take 14 shots, and the .25 can take 12 shots. So with regards to scoring the mags out of 5, because you've only got a maximum of 14 shots, that's, you know, that's far fewer than say some of the FX magazines that are out there, you know, those mags that are holding 30-35 shots, more in some instances. And I have to grade this against what's available on the market, so it's only scoring 3 out of 5 for shot count. For indexing, it's scoring 4 out of 5. To be fair, I could go up to 5 out of 5, because once the magazine is loaded, it hasn't missed a beat, you know, it really hasn't. So maybe I should have marked that at 5 out of 5, but hey, I'm going to mark it at 4 out of 5. I'm going to be a little bit harsh, should I say. So overall for magazines, we're scoring 3.5 out of 5, which for this type is still a very, very high score, and you wouldn't really be able to get a higher score than that. Okay, let's talk about the barrel. So it is it's a Chechen made barrel, and it's cold hammer forged. It's made in-house, it's choked, it's 12 grooved with 450mm twist or 17.7-inch twist. I've only put, you know, all told about 100 and what we've got 70 plus, so 120 shots through it so far, and I haven't cleaned the barrel. So as it came out of the box, I've simply put pellets through it and I've shot it. Now, next job after all of this is for me to scrub that barrel and then to properly let it in and see how it performs. Saying that, if it had manufacturer's grease in it, then it would have possibly severely affected the accuracy of the shots. Okay, now I'm not saying that it didn't have manufacturer's grease in it. What I'm saying is that when I shot the rifle, it didn't severely affect its accuracy. I am expecting great things from this, and with time as it leads in, I can only assume that it's going to get better. Now, when I reviewed the Weihrauch HW100T, that rifle was, what was it? I think it was about 10-year-old. Okay, so I mean, credit where credit due, it was shooting beautifully, no two ways about it, even at that age. This is brand new, okay, so it has a lot to go up against, but it's shooting nicely. You know, the barrel is really, really nice, so I think that's only going to get better with time, that's for sure. What else can I tell you? So the barrel length itself is 540mm or 21.26 inches. The barrel wall thickness is 5.25mm or 0.21 of an inch. As you can see, it's got a screw-on moderator. Now, I don't believe this is 1/2 inch UNF. I think it's specific to this rifle. So I'm just going to get you, I'm not sure if you can see that, but the other thing that's really nice about the rifle itself is that it has been properly crowned. The barrel, should I say, has been properly crowned. It's machined so nicely at the end there that you know that there's going to be no kind of, how can I say, irregular air escape behind the skirt, because the barrel's been crowned properly. So it all just comes down to workmanship and craftsmanship. It's excellent. Build quality is fantastic on this, it really is. Sorry, it's taking me a little bit of time to screw that back on. Okay, the moderator length is 175mm or 6.89 inches, and the moderator diameter is 29.9mm or 1.18 inches. I'll talk about noise in a little bit, but it's good. So, accuracy. Let's talk about this card here, because obviously at the end of the day that's what this is all about, isn't it? Is how accurate the rifle was. So the nearest shot at bull on the outside fore was this shot here. So as you can see at top right hand target, that's 3.32 millimeters away from the crosshair. And guys, you saw the footage, you saw that I was basically aiming down here because I hadn't reset my turrets. I hadn't zeroed in the rifle. I just thought, no, I'm going to go straight on from the pellet test. So it took me a little bit of time to get my eye in, as you can see with the other ones, but that's 3.32 mil out. There was wind to deal with, not a great deal, but you know, it's a factor, that's for sure. The furthest away from the ball is this shot here where my finger is, and that's 9.29 millimeters away. Okay, and then the actual group size, so this 5-shot group size, it has a diameter of 7.44 millimeters. And guys, we're shooting out a 30-meter here. Okay, you see me shoot it. That's, you know, that's brilliant. It really is. I would prefer it if obviously these outer targets were all center across, but when I get more time and I have a play around with it and I bed it in, then I'll reshoot it and you'll get to see an improved accuracy card. I mean, this is still pretty good, but you'll get to see an improved accuracy card, that's for sure. And then of course, was it pellet fussy? Well, when I kind of talk about pellet fussiness, I'm talking about will it group under an inch at 30 meters with different pellets. Okay, and all bar the last pellets, so all about this card where we had 2 real bad flyers, they were all within a 25-inch diameter. Sorry, not 25-inch. Wow, 25 millimeter diameter group. Okay, a 1-inch group. So I can only expect it to get better. I really can. How did it score? Well, out of 5 stars for accuracy, for pellet fussiness, it's given 4.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so with regards to the trigger, what can I say? It's just really nice. As I like the record trigger on my HW77K from Weihrauch, I like the trigger on this Kalibrgun. It's sublime. You know exactly when it's going to break, and you only need the slightest of pressure to, you know, to take you into that second stage. Yeah, it's got full adjustment, but I've not needed to do that. Who knows, I might play around with it later on, but yeah, for the time being, I like it. I really like it. So yeah, I scored it basically 5 out of 5. I wouldn't want it to be any better, to be honest. Now, with regards to power levels, this is the test card that's come in the box. Okay, and what they're basically saying is that they were using a 10.8 grain pellet, and it was shooting from 705.47. Okay, let me just read these figures out to you. So 705.47, 705.47, 704.23, 702.99, 704.23, 702.99, 702.99, 700.53, 700.53, 700.53. Standard deviation 1.93, which meant a mean muzzle energy of 11.85 foot-pounds worth of energy. When I did my chrono test, and I was using the 8.44 grain JSB Match Diabolo exacts, I was basically shooting at around the 770 mark. It kicked out 11.26 foot-pound of energy overall, which is 15.27 joules. For me, that's perfect. I do know, obviously, with this test card here, that the heavier pellet means I'm likely to get more power out of it, but I must stay within the 12 foot-pound legal limit in the UK. So 10.8 gram pellet is pushing it a little bit fine for me. Obviously, when you're dealing with PCP, the hotter the weather, the more pressure, the hotter the rifle's going to fire. The colder the weather, the less pressure, you know, the cooler it's going to fire, as it were. So just, you need to bear that in mind. Don't fall foul of UK law. But saying that, you know, at 11.26 foot-pound, it's fantastic. I've given it 4.5 out of 5 stars, although why I've not given it 5 out of 5, I don't know. It really should be up there. But time will tell, you know. In a year or two, once I've shot it a fair bit, and I rerun the test just to basically revisit and see whether I still like the rifle and see how it performs then as opposed to now, you know, it may well get 5 out of 5 stars. We'll just have to wait and see. So with regards to the air supply, obviously you have this cylinder here. The cylinder is a 250cc cylinder. It has that Foster Fit probe which goes into the front loading port, and it has a max fill pressure of 300 bar, which is 4,351 psi. The beautiful thing about this is that obviously the more pressure you can get into that cylinder, the greater the shot count. Yeah, it's as simple as that. What did I get out of it? So I basically shot it from 200. I filled the cylinder up to 260 bar, which was 3,770 psi, and I shot it down to 190 bar, which was 2,755 psi. So I used 70 bars worth of air pressure, and I recorded a shot count of 65 shots. Now, if I was to fill this to the maximum of 300 bar and shoot it down to 100 bar, then I can calculate a shot count per fill of roughly 186 shots, which is more than enough for anybody, I would have thought, especially if you're going out hunting. So for shot count per fill, it's scoring 4 out of 5 stars. With regards to air efficiency, it's basically using 0.9 of a bar. Have I got this right? Shot count recorded is 65. So yeah, it's coming up at 0.9 shots per 1 bar of pressure. So for that, it's a bit thirsty. It's a bit kind of hungry for air. But then again, 0.177s generally are, and this isn't regulated. Okay, it's, as far as I know, this is a standard base chassis. So it scores 2.5 out of 5 stars for air efficiency, just because it's hungry for air. But you know, there's got to be some trade-off somewhere along the line, and being that it's not regulated, and I may well be wrong here, but I'm fairly certain it's not. There's nothing to say that it is, and there's certainly no manometer for a regulator. To be giving me 11.29 foot-pound of energy, and with a standard deviation that's so low, I think that just comes down to precision engineering. It must do. It really must. Overall then, for shot count and air efficiency, it gets 3.3 out of 5 stars. Alright, noise levels. I've got to say, guys, that moderator is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It knocked the dB down to 83 decibels. It's surprisingly quiet and nicely quiet. The one thing that I will say, with my kind of history of shooting and shooting centre fires and, you know, loud rifles and then loud shotguns, when I get a rifle that's shoots as quietly as this, I do struggle to engage with it, because I like the bang, you know, I like the kick, and this is just, it doesn't move and it's so quiet. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but obviously with all of that, your accuracy will increase. It definitely will. So anyway, it scores 4 out of 5 for noise levels. I guess now we're coming to a really important question, and that's value for money. So how much does this rifle cost? Well, without the scope, the mounts, the camera, the bipod, so just the rifle and the mod, as you'd get it out of the box, and that includes 2 rotary magazines, it includes your filler probe, it includes some spare O-rings, an instruction manual, and a test card. Oh, a nice little pouch for your bits and pieces to go in. But you get it in this cardboard box, okay? And what I would recommend, by the way, guys, is that when Kalibrgun ship their rifles, they ship them out of the stock. So obviously that rifle, as you can see, if it was in its stock, wouldn't fit in this box. You need a case. It's simple as that. Now, there's a nice Apollo case here, which actually works very, very well. You know, this rifle fits really nicely, and it's got some, the padding on the walls is really nice. So that's something that you might want to bear in mind, and it's obviously going to be an additional expense. How much it is, guys, I'm going to leave it for you to look up online, because I don't sell them, and you know, different dealers have different prices. But yeah, that's a nice handy bag, and that's called an Apollo gun case. So price, well, the rifle, as I say, and the moderator is £1,550. okay, that's in the UK. Now obviously, if you're new to the sport and this is the first rifle that you buy, well, you know, you're a lucky individual, that's for sure, because I'm going to say this whole setup that I've got here, there's £2,500 worth here. Okay, so that's a massive investment if you've never shot before and you're coming straight into the scene. But saying that, if you were to buy the rifle and you got yourself a half decent scope, some pellets and air supply, don't forget you need to be able to fill these things, so you're probably going to want a diver's bottle. You'll be spending somewhere in the region of £370–400 on top of that £1,550 in order to be able to get it set up and to shoot it. Is it good value for money? Well, at £1,920 all in, the score that I'm getting is 2.5 out of 5 stars. However, when you then compare the cost to the results, okay, and you look at these measurements and how tight this is going to be, because this is the governing factor, this is why you spend so much money on this, then it actually brings in the rifle at 4.1 out of 5 stars. Okay, so is it good value for money? If it can do this, and I can only assume it'll do better as it gets older, then yeah, it is very, very good value for money. It's a large investment, there's no two ways about it, and it's going to be beyond the budget of most people initially, or a lot of people should I say, especially a setup like this. But yeah, it's certainly worth it. Maybe something to look towards, you know, save up towards, aim towards, whatever you want to call it, unless you're lucky and you can afford it straight away. The one thing that I will say though, when you do get a bit of kit as finely machined and engineered as this, if this is going to be your entry-level rifle, then you may be spoiling yourself a little bit, because it makes shooting easy, or a lot easier. And certainly if you're entering this sport, then think about maybe going for a Springer first, because that will teach you more about the sport itself, and it will, you know, it will hone your skills. Because if you can shoot well with a Springer, then shooting with a PCP is a lot easier, that's for sure. Okay, so overall, how's this Kalibrgun Cricket 2 Carbine fared? Has it beaten the Weihrauch HW100T? And do I need to shout it from the rooftops? Well, dun 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 dun. It has. The Weihrauch came in at 4.0 out of 5 stars. This is actually scoring a combined total of 4.1 out of 5 stars. So Kalibrgun, well done. You know, you've gone up against Weihrauch and you've produced a rifle that effectively is as good as that, if not better. I can only assume that with time that it'll become more accurate, so I'm guessing it's going to be better with time. The caveat is how the indexing works out. How does that retaining pin, is it robust enough? Will it last the test of time? We'll only have to wait and see. Right guys, well that's it from me for now. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'm sorry if I waffle on, but I do like to give you all the information. I do know that my subscribers like that level of detail, so I'm going to keep doing the same going forward. Yeah, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. It is important. It keeps the channel going, you know, and the more subscribers you get, the more the videos reach a larger audience. Okay, so yeah, please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe, give us a thumbs up as well, and you know, share amongst your friends and family. From now until the next one, as always, please, if you're out there, shoot safe, be safe, look after yourself, look after others, and yeah, bye bye for now. Bye bye.